Brian from Midnight Gaming Emporium. Tonight is going to be part 3 of our Magic the Gathering talk. We're going to talk about when we came back into it. And joining me in this is
Jacob Carver from the Butcher Shop.
We've played Magic, as you know, back in the past. And it was me, him, and his brother. We went out to like different stores over a couple month period, and we would just buy like different the different starter decks that they had for like what was that? Like Dragons of Cartier, Battle of Zendikar, and stuff, Origins, and stuff like that. And we just sat and played, and it was actually really fun. And that's also when we decided, when we saw the Commander decks.
Yeah.
To buy
that was the first time after we got back in, we saw like Commander decks. There was no
Commander
way back when we first started playing.
No. In fact, I think the closest thing to Commander back then was the Elder. It was called like Elder Dragons, or basically that's what Commander came from.
Yeah.
It was like you chose one of the 5 Elder Dragons as your commander, and I don't even know if it was called a commander. It was just like your colors or whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think it was a commander at that point.
No, not even close to what it is now. But commander's kind of fun. Political, unfortunately, which kind of ruins some of the fun of it. But getting back into it, that was really enjoyable, especially just sitting around. They say you can't learn something a second time, but that was about as close as you could get. Because while we knew how the basic game functioned, all these new abilities that the cards had,
mechanics and everything.
Yeah, it was almost like relearning the game a second time, and that was like really fun. Because every time you got a new starter deck, you'd sit there and you'd shuffle up, and we'd start playing, and you'd have to read every single card because you had no idea what any of them did.
Well, yeah, like, oh, hey, look, now this it has infect or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But really, when we were playing, there wasn't a whole lot of things that had stuff like that.
No, it was only a handful of creatures that had they were actually poison counters.
Yeah, it was. I don't even think it was called infect back then.
Nope, it was poison. Yeah, I remember that. But if you got 10 poison counters, you lost the game. But the funny part was, it was printed on the card for the poison counters. It gave, if it dealt damage, you only got like 1 poison counter or 2 poison counter. Pumping the creature didn't increase the number of poison counters you got, because it only gave a set number of poison counters. It basically infect but not broken.
Like it is now.
Yeah. And then after about 2-3 months or so of doing that, went out to Comics Connection. They had Magic out there.
Yeah, I think that's when we started our foray into Friday Night Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, when we first got into it, they had it on like Thursday nights or an off night, because I remember going to like Comic Store West, but maybe it wasn't Friday, but I remember playing games out there, and I'm sure it was a Wednesday or a Thursday. It wasn't Friday.
Yeah. I think what happened is over the years,
I don't know, but if anybody knows that, let us know, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Friday Night Magic at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it probably was, and it probably was just like they would sponsor events at whatever point in time. But then it became all corporate and everything.
Now it's Friday Night Magic.
Yeah, now it's Friday Night Magic, Saturday Night or Saturday Showdown. During the week, then you got League, which is basically you just get booster packs and play. It's like they literally took away your ability just to go out and play Magic for fun. It's like they turned everything into a gigantic money scheme.
Yeah.
Which is even worse now with them basically selling individual cards, which they said they'd never do with their secret layer crap, which is all that is. They're just selling individual cards. They're just calling it something else. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah. But then our foray into Friday Night Magic led me and Brian to go to our first Grand Prix in Pittsburgh.
Yep. Well, actually, no. The first Grand, Pittsburgh was the first one we played.
The first one we played in.
We went down to Washington D.C. and we were just walking around. I mean, we didn't know what went on at these Grand Prix and stuff like that. We didn't know that there were side events and stuff. We just went there thinking we'd just buy some cards, just get some stuff signed and leave. But it was like, holy shit, there's like all sorts of different events going on. And then he goes to me, he goes, you want to just play in one of these just so you can say that we did it? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Pittsburgh came up. I got the tickets, got the hotel room. We went there for a day. Had a great frickin' time playing in the main event. Did 2 side events. We went there the day it opened on Friday. When we got there, we went to the hotel, then we ate something, then we went to the thing and we registered a day ahead of time like you're supposed to do. And then we did, what was that, a team, it was a two-headed giant. Two-headed giant with Shadows over Innistrad and was it just Shadows over Innistrad, or was there another one?
I'm not sure if it was Eldritch Moon or Shadows over Innistrad.
It might have been both of them. You got like 4 or 6 packs, and then you made 2 decks out of it.
That was
we got it, yeah, because we got an Avacyn out of that, which like made us like dangerous.
Yeah,
Avacyn. Oh shit, we're gonna lose. That's pretty much what that went down to. But that
do you
was
remember
fun.
what deck you played there?
Yes, I played a Naya's Walker's deck. It was based around Nihirli the Harbinger, bringing what the hell's the name of that dragon? Atarka into play, and basically Atarka's ability would almost wrap the board, and then you'd hit them for 8 in the air. And it also used Gideon's, and the card engine known as Tireless Tracker, also known as you play Tireless Tracker, it dies. That was because basically that's what happened. You played your tracker and it got blown up. They didn't let, and I understand you don't want a tracker to sit on the board for more than like 1 turn because it will beat you down horribly in the card draw. You remember what you played?
I played Mardu Control with Chandra and Nahiri and a bunch of other shit. Board wipes and shit. And actually, I didn't do too bad. I think I won my first 3 games, and then after that, things started going south. But after playing a series of collected company band company decks, after playing like 3 in a row,
yeah,
that's
that
all
was like, yeah, that was.
And I'm sure now it's the same thing as every place you go, even other formats. You see the same decks constantly.
Yep, after doing 8 matches, and I think 6 of them were Bant Company, you kind of get the shits of it, just playing the same deck. But playing out at Comics Connection was so much fun. Ned, Steve, Evan, Don, Ben. Then they got their own judges in there, Kat, and her husband Victor, yes, Jeff. I mean, it was just so much fun playing out there with a bunch of guys and girls. It was just enjoyable. But that was just how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a social experience. It isn't supposed to be online. It isn't supposed to be, it isn't supposed to be, everything's supposed to be about a tournament. It's just supposed to go out there and play. Oh, guess who else we played when we were out there?
Who's that?
Brian Keene.
Oh, yes, we did play against Brian Keene.
Horror author Brian Keene, and that's also how we met Matt.
That's how we met Matt. And
aspiring author who just released a new book you can buy on Amazon, Horrors Untold Volume 2.
Free pop, Matt. Free pop.
I don't know if Amazon can actually ship it right now or not because we're in Corona beer times. I can't say virus. They'll fuck my video.
They'll demonetize.
Yeah, they'll demonetize my demonetized video.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, Yeah, to me, Magic has always been a social game versus me trying to go win packs or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunately what it devolved into, really. And I guess that's, you kind of got to do that to try to, well, one, the company wants to sell as many packs as possible to make money, which I understand that. And also, we'll get more into this when we talk about the online stuff of it, but also understand that for the physical card market, you cannot possibly make all the cards. I mean, there's probably, what, 20,000 Magic cards now in like its 25 plus year history. I mean, you cannot possibly keep all those in print and remain fiscally viable of a company. So everything has to rotate. You make more and more formats, and that's one thing. When we started, there was one format, and then they added stuff like sealed decks, if you want to call that a different format, and stuff like that. And then later on, they added a second format, which I guess you would now call standard, but back then it was called Type 2. All it did was basically removed, it was basically everything from revised forward. It basically removed like the broken Power 9 cards.
The boxes and lotuses,
that's pretty much all it was. So, but now it's like well, they did change the rotation to like, I guess once a year now again, because it was like every like 6 months. I'm like, that's just freaking insane.
So if you want to play Magic, you gotta have some cash.
Yeah, that's
and that's where like me, I like Pauper and shit like that now. So
that's another format they have now, Pauper.
Yeah, and I like Pauper. That's a good thing.
Yeah, Pauper's real good. Oddly, some of those Pauper cards are getting expensive now because of that.
Yeah, when you have a $3 lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Or lots of other things you could probably say, but sure.
Yeah. Have anything else
to say? I think that's about it for this one. We'll talk about our foray into the online gaming next episode.
Yeah. All right, this is Brian from Midnight Gaming Emporium.
And Jacob Carver from the Butcher Shop.
Signing out.
Mill Mascaras.
Fuck yeah.